Welcome back, everyone. This is MandoAllDay, back with a video. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Flash Page Punchers wave. I already did a video for Gorilla Grodd, and I have a link for that video. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the remaining figures for the Page Punchers. So that includes Flash, Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Atom. We're going to be taking a look at the articulation, sculpture, and paint for each figures, and give my honest opinion of each figure, and if it's worth the purchase for each figure, and of course, talk about the whole entire Page Punchers wave for Flash. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at the box for each one. We start off with Flash. This is the front of the box. The side. The back. The other side. Top. And bottom. Alright, let's take a look at Captain Cold. The front of the box looks like. The side. The back. The other side. Top. And bottom. Alright, now let's take a look at Atom. Front of the box looks like. The side, the back, the other side, top, and bottom. And last but not least, we'll be taking a look at Heatwave. So front of the box looks like. The side, the back, the other side, top, and bottom. Alright, now let's take a look at the figures outside the box. As always, they do come with a card. So the front of the card looks like for Flash. The back of the card. And the card for Captain Cold. The back of the card. Then a card for the Atom, the back of the card, and last but not least, of course, Heatwave, and the back of the card. Now, for accessories for Flash, they do come with two lightning bolts. They're clear, simple. Put the hand right here. That's pretty much it. Not much going on in this lightning bolt for Flash. Again, there's two of them. For Captain Cold, it comes with, of course, his gun. And the cool thing is you can actually open it up, put the hand in there, make it seem like he's grabbing the handle, and then close it up. I think it's pretty cool. See that? Not much to it. I like the paint of it. I like the faded kind of like, it's all like black, and then it kind of fades into the blue, which looks very, very cool. But simple design, clean sculpture. And then for Atom, or the Atom, it does come with two hands. So this is his right trigger hand, clean looking, not much going on, and this is his left palm. The little texture design, and of course it comes with his thing right here. You can put it in the back of it, because in the back of Atom it does have a hole. You can put it right there, and then pretty clear and simple. And for Heatwave, no accessories, but of course they all come with a regular stand. So let's start off with Flash here. So with Flash, so I gotta say, he looks very, very cool, man. That head sculpture and design looks very cool. Just look at all that head sculpture and detail on it on Flash. It looks very, very good, man. I really like it. I do like the Cold. His face paint, it looks kind of plain, cheap looking. The lip paint, again, it's kind of sloppy a little bit. Not too much detail, but the head sculpture, it looks very good. The paint on it, it's clean looking, not much going on. It has like kind of like a bronze to it, look to it. You can see that, but head articulation, left to right, good. Up, down, good. So the head articulation's good. The sculpture is good. The paint is okay. Not much going on in the paint. Again, the face paint is not the greatest. The lip paint is not the greatest, but the other colors right here, it's clean looking. I like it. Arm articulation, good. Bicep, it's good. It's a little stiff. Elbows, good. Then wrist, oops, good. So in terms of the arm articulation, it's good. But look at that texture design though. That's what I like about this Flash. There's so much texture design right here. You can feel it. Also feel it in the back here. Also in his gauntlets. And it's just a weird looking design. Just look at all that right here. And all this right here too. It is one weird looking sculpture design, even here on present, on the bicep, on the shoulders. Again, such a weird looking figure, but it looks very cool, which I like about it. And it's really cool looking, man. Just look at that texture design. Again, just that detail on the sculpture looks very cool. The back, that detail right here looks very cool, man. I really like it. Unfortunately, there's not enough of this color right here on the backs. If it did, I think it would have popped even more in the back. The back is just always playing with Flash, unfortunately, but it is what it is, though. But it looks very cool. Torso articulation, very good with Flash, which it should be. And I gotta say, though, the Flash symbol looks very cool. It really does look good even from a distance. It looks very cool. And again, same kind of texture design on the arm, also present on the chest and torso and the abdomen as well, too. I gotta say, though, the sculpture design is so weird. It's over the top, but it looks so cool. And it has a kind of modern look, kind of look of Flash to him, which, again, I like it. I like it. It looks very cool. I really dig it. And I think McFarlane did a really good job with the design of Flash. Really cool looking. And also here, the belt right here too. Looks very cool. Leg articulation, it's good. Knees, good. Ankles, good. Toes, of course, good. And I gotta say, even on the, sorry, I'm fixing this. There we go. Even on the leg too, all that detail. Just look at that. The sculpture design, the texture design, just looks so good, man. Really cool looking, man. And the color again looks very good. Very subtle from the front, but that paint though, this paint right here, it just looks good and it pops and it just grabs your attention. Even on the mask too. To see that right there, it just looks good, man. This design is even all the way down to the boots as well too. That texture design look to it on the boots. It looks so cool. It's so much present. The only downside is the back is very plain. It does not highlight it, which is unfortunate. Which again, you can probably paint it, which is fine. But I personally am not a painter. I'm not a big fan of it. But again, that's just me though. But you never know. I might try something new and different. But nonetheless, so the sculpture on this looks really cool, man. I really dig Flash. And I think McFarlane did a really good job with Flash. Just look at all that detail, that sculpture design. It just looks so good. Again, McFarlane did an awesome job with this. I really like this. Very detailed Flash, man. I really dig it. Now, the main question is this Flash worth it? And in my opinion, I think Flash looks good, and I think it's worth the purchase price of $25, which I'll go over in a bit regarding the pricing, but for now, these are worth $25. Again, you get the figure, the accessories, and of course, the comic, which I didn't really highlight the comic, but it's the same figure as, same comic as the other ones. They all come in packaging, but they're all the same figure as before. So I'll show you again just how it looks, but in terms of the comic, again, clean looking paper, good quality paper, which I like, has a gloss to it. It's the same comic for all of them, similar to Gorilla Grodd, but again, the question is it worth the purchase price of $25 for Flash? I think for Flash, I think it's a good looking figure. You do have some accessories. The card is kind of but the articulation, the sculpture, the paint is good. It just, I wish there was more in the back of Flash, but nonetheless, so fantastic figure. And I think, in my opinion, for Flash, is it worth the purchase price? Thumbs up for me, and I really like Flash. Now, on to Captain Cold. Captain Cold here. And this is another, wow, look at that head sculpture. Looks very cool. That detail, that paint on that silver on this mask looks so cool. That texture design right here, that you can almost feel it. It's very thick. Also, this texture material right here on the hoodie, you can even see it right there. Just look at all that. You can really feel it on here. Head articulation is also good, left and right, up and down. And the paint looks good, looks clean, has black eyes, which, again, it matches, it's fine with it, I can work with it, but that textured material just really stands out, not only in appearance, but also the feel of it looks so good, man. Also, too, this right here, too, again, Fantastic looking head sculpture. Articulation is good, up and down. The paint again is pretty clean, but that's silver though on his mask. Very, very good. I really like that. And I gotta say the head sculpture looks very good. Shoulder articulation. It's present. Mine's a little stiff, but it's there. Bicep. It does, but again, my fingers is very stiff. Elbows, again, wow, this is very stiff. But it's present, and of course, let me see here. Here you go. Wrist, good. So in terms of the articulation of arms, it's good, but look at all that detail. Just look at all that texture material. And it's very like thick too. If you can, it's one of those figures where you have to feel it. Like when you see it in person, you'll see what I mean. Just like how it is here on the hoodie, that texture material you can really see and very noticeable. Same here, present on the arms too. It has that texture look to it, and you can really feel it. But it looks so cool, dude. It looks very cool. Gauntlets again, very simple, clean looking. Also, that textured material is present on his gloves as well too. And both arms look very good, basically similar, but nonetheless, so it looks very cool, man. Torso articulation, it's present, but not the greatest. Yeah, it's not the best, so it's unfortunate, but just look at that detail, that textured material. It just looks very cool. I do like the color here, brown. Again, I like that. Little subtle paints like this just really does pop, even from a distance. You can see it. Subtle things like that make a difference in a figure, and it looks very cool. This pendant right here too. I like that gold paint with that bright blue or light blue color. I dig it. Similar to eyes. Of course, there's canisters right here too. Look cool. Even the canisters have detail as well too. You can see that right there. You can just see a little bit right there. Look at that. Again, little things like that make a huge difference. The belt buckle again, that gold color. This is a very cool looking figure. And again, even a little bit of the cape right there looks cool. That's texture material. It has a little design on it too, kind of going to the right or to the left. You're looking in front of it. But nonetheless, though, this is a very, very detailed and sculptured figure. It just looks really, really cool, man. Just look at the sides as well too. It's just a good looking figure, man. The upper body looks so good, man. McFarlane, again, killed it with Flash. Also killed it with Captain Cold. He looks very cool. I think in pictures it looked kind of cheap, but now that I'm looking at it in person, I'm like, you know what? I'm really digging this, man. This looks very, very cool. I really like this figure. Man, the upper body looks good. Leg articulation, it's good. Knees, oh, good. Very stiff. Ankles, good. And of course, toes. If I can get the toes to work. They do articulate, just mine are very, they do articulate just very stiff. So keep that in mind. But same texture material that's on the arms, also present on the legs too. You can see here little pockets right there. Changes the sculpture design, but again, very subtle, but it gives it an extra style look to it. Also, his knee pads, that bright silver, similar to in this mask. Very subtle, but it looks very, very cool, man. And of course, the legs, very thick textured material on the boots. The back of it, the strap, it looks very good. Similar style right here too. That's also present here and here. Also on the leg too, on the boots as well too, excuse me. And also the shoes have this kind of design right there too. And it's a different color too. It's like a dark blue. Even the center part right here, like a dark blue gloss to it. If you can see it right there, yeah, even better right there. The gloss to it, see that? It's a cool looking figure, man. Nonetheless, so I really dig this figure. I really like this figure. And of course, the main question is Captain Cold worth the purchase price? And for $25, you get the comic, you get the accessory, and you get a cool looking figure. I think Captain Cold, for the purchase of $25, really good deal, man. I'm telling you, you have to see this figure in person. It looks really, really good. A lot better than I expected. Now let's take a look at the Atom here. The Atom here is probably my weakest one out of all 5. But we'll break it down. So, head sculpture here. Very, very good. I do like the texture design right here too. The mask, the see-through mask. You can see obviously the symbol right here of Adam. And of course, white eyes. I've said it before, I said it again. I am a sucker for white eyes. And of course, he has white eyes. But the texture material looks, it's kind of, I don't know, it has like a weird smooth material on the mask, which is okay. I'm okay with that. But the sculpture design, clean looking on the head. There's a little vents right there in the back. Head articulation, left and right is good. Up and down, good. So overall, the head sculpture is cool. The face paint is actually pretty good for the fact that it actually has a plastic cover in front of it to cover his mask, and you can see that detail on this face. I gotta say, that looks very cool, man. I really dig it. And of course, little pipes right here too. So head sculpture articulation is good. The paint's clean. Paint's kind of plain on the mask. It's kind of sloppy. Just looks just blue. It's not bad. It's just kind of eh. But sculpture is good. Articulation is good. Take a look at the shoulder articulation. Good. Bicep. Good. Elbows. Good. Wrist. If I can do the wrist. There you go. Good. In terms of the sculpture design on the arm, I really dig this kind of style right here. The bicep looks very cool. Also here on his wrist right there too. And of course the gauntlet, that weird, it's a weird looking sculpture design, but it looks cool when you see it. See that? That kind of, it almost looks like rocks, I guess you can say, kind of look to it. It's not bad, it just looks so weird. And I talk about that in a bit, well, when I get with the legs, but same kind of texture material on the arm as also present in the other arm. Again, it looks cool. The shoulder pieces look cool. Very like odd kind of shape to it. Again, it looks cool. The back of it, same kind of style that's here. That's here. Also on the back of the figure here, you can see obviously the hole here for you can put this thing right here. Now take a look at the torso articulation. Just pretty good. Pretty good. And it's got the abdomen design. Again, very weird textured material and look to it. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but it's a weird looking texture material on the abdomen, on the red part of it. But it looks cool, man. I like the back of it. Again, more detail, more textured material on the back. The chest has the same kind of texture that's on the arms, also present on the chest. And I gotta say though, it's a cool looking figure. I like the figure, but there's a lot of texture to it, the different texture. You get the back, kind of rock look to it. And then you got the abdomen. I have no idea how you would describe this texture. And the legs have something different as well too. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But nonetheless, still upper body, again, it looks good, man. The paint is kind of plain apart from the face. Again, it's very plain, just red, blue. I mean, it does pop, it does stand out, but it's just, I don't know, something's missing with this. Something to make it really, really pop. There's a lot of detail. The sculpture is good. Take a look at the belt. The belt, you got the symbol right here. They get the black matte belt. Not much going on the belt. Clean looking design. Leg articulation. Good. Knees. Wow, they articulate, but mine is stiff. Ankles. Good. And of course, toes. Good. So what I mentioned about the sculpture design on here and the arms, it's also kind of present on here too, but also the inner thighs have a different texture look to it. If you can see what I'm referring to, and that's what kind of like, I don't know if it's by design, but it looks like there's just a lot of textures to it. It's not bad, it's too much textured, if that makes sense, that it kind of looks kind of sloppy, in my opinion. It's not a bad looking figure, I just want to clarify that. I like the figure, but it's just a little too much, in my opinion. It's like a little too much. Keep it more simple, just a little bit. But nonetheless, though, the boots have the same texture design right here on the legs, also on the feet. And of course, the thighs have this kind of weird texture material upon texture material. So it has a sculpture of a texture and also another design right there too. You can see that right there. So it's like layer upon layer, which is, again, a little too much in my opinion. But nonetheless, so it's a cool looking figure. I like it. I think it's a really cool design, especially that face paint and the mask, which I really like. Now, the main question is Adam worth the purchase price of $25? And in my honest opinion, I would say we'll probably wait for a sale for the Adam. He looks cool. the design's cool, but I don't know. It doesn't, to me, like I said, this is probably the weakest of the five, in my opinion. And to me, I would probably wait for a sale maybe for like $20 or 15. I think that's a probably better deal for the Atom. But again, that's just me. But regardless, so cool looking figure. I really like. And of course, Captain Cold, thumbs up for me on that one. Now, last but not least is Heatwave. Now, this is a big boy. This is a heavy one. It definitely has some weight to it. And the head sculpture is ridiculous. Just look at that head sculpture. I couldn't even, when I saw pictures of this, I'm like, who the heck is this? Because I did not recognize this character. But I saw it was Heatwave, and I'm like, oh, okay, they really changed it up. But hey, it looks really, really cool, man. The head sculpture looks very weird looking mask, but it kind of works in a way, but it just looks so weird. The eyes are painted that almost like gold or yellowish look to it, which it looks off, but it also the head has that kind of textured material to it, and the sculpture design. Head articulation, left, right, it's good. Up, down, it's good. So the head articulation is good. The paint is kind of, like peanut butter. And the sculpture is, again, it's weird, but it kind of works, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, so I like the head sculpture, but it is kind of weird. And of course, that peanut butter, paint. Shoulder articulation, it's good. Bicep, good. Elbows, good. And wrist on this one, good. Of course, you can't do wrist here because obviously this is one solid piece. So, but in terms of his right arm, you can see that big, thick armor. It's kind of a downside of this figure because there's a lot going on. It's very thick and very noticeable. It grabs your attention. But the paint, like, there's so much sculpture on here. Like, he has such an opportunity to kind of add an extra layer of paint. Or just some kind of other paint that just make it pop, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, so that textured material on here is very thick. You can definitely feel it, especially in the arms. But also here on the white, it has the weird textured material. You can really feel it too. And I noticed that with the armor pieces, it has that weird smooth feel. But when you go with the whites, it's really rough. So keep that in mind though. But the hand, pretty clean looking, but that's gauntlet though. A lot of texture to it. And also the arm right there too. And of course, his left arm has that big old heat gun where you can disperse heat. You got the texture right here on the joint right here, and also this textured material. Again, good detail on the armor pieces, but just one solid paint. It reminds me of Gorilla Grodd, where all the orange is so much detail, but again, it's just one paint. Exactly here. So much detail on, look at these pieces right here. A lot of details. Look at all that. All that detail. It's just one solid paint. Like you can see right here. So much detail. Look at the sculpture design. Look at the heat and just all this material. It looks so good. But the downside is it's just one solid paint. So it looks kind of cheap. That's where I'm kind of like, I like it, but it's just like such a good opportunity to really shine. But it is what it is. I mean, plus McFarlane has to keep it a certain price. But anyways. And then, of course, the tip of it has like a matte black to it. But nonetheless, though, the arm design and the sculpture is very, very cool in Heatwave. I really like them. Torso articulation, good. Very good. But look at that paint, though. That sculpture design. Again, anything with the white painted, it has that texture look to it too. Damn, he's really different. Look at his abdomen. Just look at that. Very thick abs. Wow. He definitely does crunches. But anyways, though, just look at all the armor pieces. It looks so good, man. Very detailed. But again, it just looks like it just painted with peanut butter. And it just, okay, look, all that detail. It just looks so good. But like, man, such a disappointment. Even the back. Just look at all this. So much detail. Even on here too. All this just looks so good. But again, painted peanut butter. I say it because it looks like peanut butter. Come on, don't tell me that it don't look like peanut butter. It is what it is, though. Nonetheless, so upper body, the sculpture looks cool. I do like the design of it. One hand. And then you got the Heatwave gun. It looks cool. The sculpture design is good. It has some weight to it. But again, the paint though, it was just added a little bit more paint. It would have looked so good and would have stand out more. Nonetheless, though, upper body looks very good. Take a look at the belt. Looks very good. I don't know what this is, but it has this, sure. And of course, the belt has that same color. And there you go. More canisters in the back. Take a look at the leg articulation. It's good. Knees, good. Oh man, this is very, very stiff. Ankles, very stiff but good. And then of course toes. They do articulate, but mine are not articulating because it's a very stiff figure at the moment right now. But same texture design that's on the arms and the upper body, similar on here on the legs. Anything with white, it has that texture look to it. And again, in terms of the white part of the legs, simple, cleaner looking, very thick texture design. You can see it even more here. But again, it looks cool. But the armor pieces, it just looks like just a slob. And it's just a disappointment, in my opinion. Just look at all this thick armor. It looks so good. Really, really cool, man. It just looks thick, and he just looks like he's even on his legs, too. It just looks so thick that he can protect himself from all that heat. But unfortunately, it's just one slab of paint, and it just kind of it drags it down a little bit. Even though I'm saying all this negative, it still looks cool. Like, even from a distance, if you see this, tell me that don't look cool. Come on. That looks pretty dope, in my opinion. But nonetheless, so man, I really, really like it. Especially this arm right here, too. And just all this detail. Very, very cool, man. I really dig Heatwave. I did not recognize him when I first saw him, and man, it's such a cool looking figure. I really like this figure as well, too. Now, of course, the next question is this worth your purchase price? I think for $25 for all this sculpture design, the paint's not the greatest, but it works. But the sculpture design and the weight to it, I think Heatwave is a cool looking figure. And for $25, thumbs up for me. All right, so that concludes the Page Puncher's Wave for Flash. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of pricing, this is where it gets a little interesting. Because for $25, you get the figure and the comic. The problem with that, with this whole entire Page Puncher's Wave, is the fact that when you collect each one, it's the same comic. Just like I showed you guys, it's the same comic. Why do I say this? Downside is because when you just purchase one, you already have the comic, and so it kind of devalues of the. How can I say it? It doesn't make sense to purchase it again for $25, and so to me, I don't know how I'm making any sense or not, but if it was me, if I was McFarlane, what I would do is make each figure a different issue for the same story. Like this could be issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, and the main Mega Fig issue 5. Because that to me would have been a lot worth it. Because for $25, I think the figures by itself are not worth $25 in my opinion. Except for probably Captain Cold, probably my favorite, and of course Flash. But to me, $25 for just a figure, I don't think it's worth it, especially for Adam. I'm not really into it. Because as long as I just purchase one of these, I already have the comic, boom. Then why do I need to spend an extra $5 for the same, for the same comic when I just want the figure? Same thing for this, and so forth. So to me, the Page Puncher's Wave, I like the concept, McFarlane. I think McFarlane has something special here. I do like the fact that you get the figure and a comic. But again, though, if it was me, and I know it's going to cost a lot more money for McFarlane, but if you can do like I said, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, and then maybe issue 5 is a conclusion of the story, I think that would have been such a really cool idea, and in my opinion, definitely worth getting the whole entire wave. But that's just me, though. But nonetheless, though, my favorites out of the 5, in my honest opinion, Captain Cold number 1, Flash number 2, and Gorilla God number 3, and of course 4 and 5. But regardless, though, they all look good. It can't go wrong with anyone, and in my opinion, this whole Flash Page Puncher's Wave has been really good. Like, regardless of what I said about the Atom or also Heatwave and also Gorilla God, they all look good. Like, I guarantee you, if you look at each one of them inside the box, you're going to be like, man, I have to get it. And The pictures don't do it justice. In my recommendation, this whole wave is definitely a must buy in my opinion. Just like I said with the Atom, maybe wait for a sale, but the rest of them though, I think they look really dope and they're worth the purchase price. And to me, the Flash Page Punch waves as a whole, thumbs up for me. Good job, McFarlane. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me, these figures? Do you plan on purchasing these figures? Or did you really purchase these figures? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. That includes the overview of the Flash Page Punchers for the entire wave. And on to the next one.